my name is Jason Fenwick. I'm the Director of the Business Advisory Group at Windsor Wyeth & Ward. Windsor Wyeth & Ward is a full-service business advisory firm dedicated to growing your business. Thanks for joining us in the latest of our Business Mastery series entitled The 5 Phases of a Successful Startup. Tonight we're going to be going through Phase 4, the fully operational phase. But before we get started, let's do a quick recap of the other phases. Phase 1 is strategic planning. Strategic planning is where you answer the questions who, what, when, where, how. You differentiate how your product or service is different from what's in the market currently, and you figure out what your competitive advantages are and who your target customer is going to be. Phase 2 is funding. Funding phase is where you figure out how much it's going to cost you to move forward with your business idea, to start your company and service your need. You figure out all the different aspects of that question. So it's not just how much do you need, it's why you need it, when you need it, how you need it, and from whom do you want it from, whether that's debt or equity. Phase 3 is our rollout of our startup initiatives. That's where we take a precise sequence of operational steps that are needed to start your company. The startup phase is different from the fully operational phase in that you're beta testing your systems, you're checking to make sure that everything is working, just like a preseason football game, and you're ready to go into the regular season. Or in this case, the next phase, which is the fully operational phase. I'm going to discuss that in a minute, but let me just tell you what our last phase is, which is Phase 5, which is the development of a diversified set of exit strategies. So let's get back to the fully operational phase. Most people don't realize that the fully operational phase is completely different from the startup phase. As we detailed in our last session, all the issues associated with the startup phase and the rollout of the startup initiatives, as a recap, it's just like preseason football game. That's a chance where you get out there to get a chance to scrimmage, check your systems, figure out what's going on, figure out where you need to replace or repair different systems or add to them. In this phase, the fully operational phase, that presumes everything's already in place and that the company is ready to run and move forward into the market with full speed. So let's talk about some of the needs that you're going to need to check on and address during the fully operational phase. The first is the operational needs. What do you need to ramp your business up to the level of profitability and meet the demand of the market? So if you're manufacturing something or you have an idea of a product and you've manufactured 1 or 2 of them in your garage or basement, now you're looking at how do I manufacture 10,000 of them in a week? How do I deliver 10,000 of them in a week? Who do I need in place to help me with that? What are the quantities that we're looking for in terms of production? This also applies to service. If you just started a service, whether it's being a psychotherapist, whether it's being a baker, providing baked goods, whether it's being a painter, you have to figure out how many times can I provide this service in a week, in a day, in a month, so that you can figure out your necessary production to meet your growth goals. Production is a key part of the fully operational phase. You oftentimes hear companies that get inundated with orders and they start having back orders. Back orders in the one sense are good because it means there's a demand out there for your particular product or service. On the other hand, they're bad because the customer is only going to wait so long to get your particular product before they start looking elsewhere to order a substitute. And so you have to have an understanding of these different points as you move into the fully operational phase. If you're not comfortable producing the necessary amount to satisfy the market demand, then during the rollout of the startup initiatives or the startup phase, which was the last phase we covered, you need to address and implement some new systems that will help you with this. Next are the financial needs. Most people don't understand that the startup phase is completely different from the fully operational phase as it relates to how much money you're going to need. If you think about it, I like to give the layman's example of moving into a new house. You're moving from California to New York. You just bought a house in New York. When you arrive, there are going to be some things that you need to do to stock the house. So maybe you need to go out and buy supplies to fill your pantry up. And if you're already living in the house, you wouldn't necessarily buy as much, but because there's nothing in the house and you've moved across country, you go to the local store and you stock up on toilet tissue, uh, furniture, curtains, curtain rods, different things that you normally wouldn't buy in your day-to-day experience. That's the startup phase. It's moving into the new house. Maybe you're putting a deposit down on your electricity or other utilities. That's not something you would normally have to deal with in an operational phase. And so that requires usually additional needs. During the fully operational phase, we look to see where the fixed costs come in. And more importantly, when will the revenue meet and cover the fixed and variable costs? That's called your break-even point. We're wondering at what point will you hit it in the fully operational phase. That's the point beyond which there's a return on the investment to both the shareholders and the other owners and operators. And so the investors are looking for it, the bankers are looking for it, and you as the owner of the company should also be looking for it. But your financial needs during this phase are going to be different from the startup phase, and you need to understand that difference for your own particular company. The other thing is, the question is going to come, do you have enough money to get you to your growth goals? Maybe you're projecting to do $600,000 in revenue, but in order to do that $600,000 in revenue, you're going to need $400,000 to cover hard costs to get there. The question becomes, do you have the ability to cover that? Because having an opportunity to sign a contract for $600,000 doesn't work if you don't have the necessary finances in place to cover those needs. And so you need to understand those financial needs during the fully operational phase. The third one is your sales needs. How much sales support do you need? How many salesmen do you need in order to hit your growth goal? What is your sales cycle? Do you have a 3-month sales cycle, 1-month sales cycle, 2-week sales cycle? Doesn't matter what they are. You just need to know what they are so that you can plan for your sales needs. Knowing how many salesmen you need, how much sales support you need in place in order to service the market that you've chosen and gain market share is crucial. This is the time where you get your first and second impression from the customer. This is the time where they order it once, and depending on how easy it is to make the order, they determine whether or not they're ever going to order from you a second time. And so it's crucial that your sales needs be explained, be detailed, and that you understand them. Next is the marketing needs. The marketing during the first phase is slightly different, during startup phase is slightly different from the fully operational phase. During the fully operational phase, you want to start setting in place marketing that's going to stretch a little bit longer than just your beta testing. During the beta testing period of the startup phase, you were testing different marketing efforts. Here, you figured out which ones work and which ones don't. You're getting rid of the ones that don't work, and you're replacing them with ones that do work. You're maybe signing longer-term contracts with your media outlets that are doing your advertising and letting them know that, hey, this is working for you, and it's become advantageous for you to sign a longer-term contract. So during this phase, you're examining all of that. During the fully operational phase, normally marketing and sales leads production and operations. During the startup phase, it's usually the opposite. You want to know how much you can produce so that you know how much to market or advertise for. You don't want to get inundated. So in this particular case, you're wanting your sales and marketing to push the ball forward and draw the sales out of the market so that you can supply them. But you want them to all be in sync. That's the key to the fully operational phase. You want all your pistons popping or running at the same speed, same time. Because you don't want marketing and sales way out there, selling at 200% of your production capacity. These are the things that you need to be concerned about in the fully operational phase. My name is Jason Fenwick. It's a pleasure of mine to be here with you tonight. I'm the director of the Business Advisory Group at Windsor, Wyeth & Ward. Again, Windsor, Wyeth & Ward is a full-service business advisory firm dedicated to growing your business. If there's anything we've talked about during this particular session or one of our other sessions that we can help you with, please feel free to contact us. You can contact us via email at info@windsorwyeth.com. That is info@windsorwyeth.com. If you'd like to be put on our list of mailings for our boot camps, other webinars, other events, you may do so by texting your name, email, and contact information to 202-640-2466. Again, that's 202-640-2466. That's a special texting line that we set up just for you. We will respond to you if you request with their schedule and other information about our upcoming boot camps, seminars, and webinars. As always, we appreciate you tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you at the top.